I don't usually write scripts for Snappy-Tech videos. I usually have a few key stats or some talking points, and I just rely on my technical know-how or showmanship to get through the rest. This video, however, is a bit different. You see, YouTube made a pretty big mess up, and I want to make sure that I'm factually accurate. So we're going to have a video that's actually scripted for once. The horror. Now you may be wondering, George, what did YouTube do to screw up so badly? And that's a great question. The other day I was scrolling through my YouTube creator studio dashboard thing. It's basically this place where YouTube gives you a bunch of tips and tricks that aren't really tips and tricks, like engage your viewers for longer and have you considered crowdfunding, which are all pretty basic concepts but kind of make sense to first-time YouTubers. You see, normally it's things that are common sense and not that interesting, but the moment I saw the headline mention creators in video titles and descriptions, I knew I was in for a fun ride. You see, what this new YouTube functionality allows anyone with over 1,000 subscribers to do is to @mention anyone on YouTube just like you can on Instagram or Twitter. Why is this such a big deal? Well, for starters, Instagram and Twitter don't have any built-in monetization. Creators don't automatically make money just from you viewing a piece of their content. Also, on Twitter specifically, cross-promotion is actually pretty minimal. Not only does @ing someone at the start of your tweet mean that it straight up just doesn't show up on their thing unless they follow both of you, if you mention someone partway through your tweet, it'll only show up if that person then interacts with it. You don't get any preference in the algorithm. YouTube, on the other hand, are straight up using this as a form of cross-promotion. In their blog post that announced this feature roughly 2 weeks ago, it says, a video that mentions your channel may show up to your fans as a recommendation, but the presence of your channel in that video doesn't increase the likelihood of it appearing to your fans. That basically means just because you're in someone else's video doesn't mean it will be shared with your fans, obviously, but if they mention you, it will. And that, my friends, is how I've ended up here. I have 4 almost identical videos, each with a minor tweak, just to test this out. It's only been around as a feature for a couple of weeks, so someone has to probe it. So let's talk through each version right now. Firstly, it has @mentioned Philip DeFranco at the start, and has a thumbnail similar to the style of the Philip DeFranco show. These will all be going out at like 5 minutes before the PDS, just so YouTube has like a minute to add it into its recommendations. So we'll see. This is entirely based on Philip DeFranco's star power. If you are seeing this coincidentally and you're not Philip DeFranco but you're one of his viewers, you should probably mention this to him via Twitter or YouTube, just so he's aware, because this is something that could potentially be exploited, and this might be the first case of it actually being exploited on YouTube. There's only one way to find out, and that's by if you're the one watching this. Secondly, we have PewDiePie. This is basically designed to see how it works with the person with the biggest star power on YouTube right now, or the biggest actual YouTube creator. So if you're seeing this, sorry Felix, I didn't mean to, it's just for the sake of science. The thumbnail is a pretty standard Snappy-Tech thumbnail, so this is almost entirely dependent on just the star power of Felix. It's literally all it is. Thirdly, there's Mr. West. Dave is a creator who has roughly 3 times the subscriber I have, which makes him significantly closer than PewDiePie or Philip DeFranco. The reason I picked him is because our videos are generally pretty similar, so I can imagine people who view his content also viewing my content and vice versa. So we'll see if the fact that we make pretty similar videos has any weighting whatsoever as to if it's promoted to his viewers or not. Also, he's never actually been in a Snappy-Tech video. Wait a minute, he's never been in a Snappy-Tech video? Dave is genuinely great, so go follow him, there's a link in the description. But the point here is, if the recommendations are in any way contextually aware, this will be the one that performs best. Finally, there's the control video, this version. This is just titled like a plain old YouTube video with no mentions, going out to roughly 1,300 subscribers. This is about as close as you can get to a control on YouTube, purely because sometimes things go viral just because they do. So hopefully this will be the one that does worst, because that's the point. As I mentioned, these 4 will all be going out at roughly the same time, so the plan is to put the 4th one out first, so the one that doesn't mention anyone, because that one will be the one that notifies all of my viewers. Anyone who has notifications turned on will get it for that video, instead of ones that have mentions, so we'll see that properly. Over the next few weeks, I'll be keeping track of the analytics to see if there's any particular version of this video that outperforms the other. There will be some variation because That's just how YouTube works, but generally we should see a trend if there's one that really takes off versus the other. And because of that, you should definitely subscribe, because you want to see part 2 of this, don't you? You want to find out if Philip DeFranco or PewDiePie love me. Please love me. One final note, the community post that initially launched this feature has this screenshot and it shows what's basically happened. Hang on. What you can see here is the person is mentioned in the title and then the recommended videos of the person mentioned. So it's kind of the opposite of what the blog post explains. So I'm not sure if this works both ways or if the blog post is just badly worded. So I guess we'll find out. Either way, I can't help but feel like this feature isn't one that will last long, so we'll see. If you want more techie geeky stuff, and if you want to see my 1000 subscriber special, which is just me making fun of myself for a solid 10 to 15 minutes, because that's how long YouTube videos are nowadays, then make sure to subscribe. My 500 subscriber special is me reading some of my favorite hate comments, and my 1000 subscriber special is exactly the same, because I have no creativity. I had a video go semi-viral like a month ago, and there are some great comments. It'll be out in like a week or so keep your eyes open for that, because it's going to be a fun one. Either way, I need to go edit and upload this video, so I'll see you guys next time. Actually, but if you're watching this, then I've already uploaded the video. That makes no sense as an outro.